Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. This is Primelang, where we talk about language learning and also where you can find lots of video lessons for several languages. And my name is Olga. So today I would like to touch upon, I think, a very important subject for language learners. That is how to structure your language learning, how to make a schedule that would work. And I think the reason why I've decided to make such a video is that recently I've watched tons of similar videos, so I see that basically every YouTuber who talks about language learning probably has made one, and I can see why. So it's the first thing that you should think about when planning a new language or just planning serious language work, because without it you will probably not get as good results as you would like, and you will not move ahead quickly enough, and it will only add in frustration. So I think there are lots of different views on this, and basically the first thing that I would like to suggest is listen to yourself, because there are things that will work for you and there are things that will not work for you, and I think there are as many ways of doing it as there are people, and the more videos I've watched on the subject, the more I felt that they are all different. Everybody has a different idea about this, and for me personally, not all of them seem sound. Some of them seem really strange, so I don't know. I think something overcomplicated wouldn't work for me, where you have to use lots of additional apps, where you have to make complicated calendars, schedules. So I can understand that there are people who might enjoy that, but for me it should be something really basic, simple, that wouldn't require any extra preparation, because I normally don't have time for that. Okay, so anyway, let's get into it and into the main points that I would like to cover here. So first of all, the time. How much time should you spend learning a language during a week? Because I think it's not a bad idea to plan ahead and have kind of a schedule, and to have an idea of how many times a week and for how long you are going to do it. So again, there are people who think that you can work for maybe 15 minutes every day and it will work. And there are many people who say that you should have like half an hour slots for your language learning, maybe several times a day, but not more than half an hour. Okay, so what I think about that, definitely it's better than nothing. So if your choice is working for 15 minutes, making a 15-minute activity, or not doing anything at all, of course 15 minutes will be more productive than nothing. But at the same time, for me personally, for serious work, that wouldn't be enough. Like, I think there are lots of these activities that go like kind of like fun. For example, for me it's reading. I always read before going to bed, and it can be for an hour, it can be more, and I just try to read more in my target language. So for example, right now I'm reading a book in Spanish, and well, basically I do an hour of reading every night, maybe more, but I don't count that, because that's not really work. So of course that's very important and efficient for my language learning, but in terms of work, so I don't know, it's just fun, as well as watching some films, watching series, watching videos. So I think you probably shouldn't count that, because if you count that and you only have even an hour or half an hour, well, then it will be very hard for you to fit all the activities in. So what I suggest is, first of all, having at least 3, well, maybe 2 serious work days for your language during a week. And so I would say 3 is a good number, but if you really cannot make 3, at least 2. 2 could work probably. And I think you should have at least an hour a day for some work as well, basically work with a textbook or with just online exercises, grammar, vocabulary, writing, serious stuff that requires you to sit, concentrate, and just, plunge into it. Okay, and beyond that, you can do lots of different things, and you should do lots of different things. For example, I don't count my language exchange hour, weekly hour, into this scheme. So that's a separate story. Reading, watching, looking through the vocabulary, I try to do that every day. I don't count that. So that's basically the plan. I think if you do that like 2 times a week, let's say 45 minutes might be enough. So if you make it an hour, you can squeeze in several activities, because doing something for an hour will probably be too boring and monotonous. So you can work, for example, on your grammar for 45 minutes and then do 15 minutes of something easier, something more fun, just maybe reading scrolling through some articles online, I don't know, or just learning your vocabulary or using a different source. For example, you work with your main textbook for 45 minutes and then you have 15 minutes for something else. And beyond that, you do all the other things, watching, speaking, reading, whatever it is you do. Yes, and that's basically my plan. That's what I think should work best. And one more, I think, pretty important question I would like to cover in this video is learning several languages at a time. Because again, there are, I think, I've watched several polyglots, YouTubers, who are learning as many as 6 languages at a time. And personally, I don't think so. I don't know. We see lots of those videos, and it can be pretty demotivating, I think, because you think, okay, that person does that, what can I do? Even I can't even learn 1 language at a time. But honestly, we don't know what goals they have, what results they have in each language, and so on and so forth. So I think you can learn 6 languages and it's great, but only if you don't have any other life. If you have a very laid-back work which leaves you a lot of free time, you don't have a family, or you have studies which again leave you, I don't know, a lot of free time, and you don't have a family, and you don't have any other activities, then maybe, so if you dedicate yourself completely to language learning, then it's definitely great and it's possible, and you probably can get good results in maybe most of your languages. But normally, and I can say this about myself, this year I've really felt it, but I've always felt it more or less to some extent. You have a life, and somewhere in between different important things you squeeze this great hobby passion. For me it's even professional kind of, but still your language learning. So it's like this. And this year I really haven't had, I had periods when I just didn't do anything for weeks and months, and again, yes, so it makes you feel not so great, it makes you feel discouraged, but the important thing is always to come back, to get back to your schedule whenever life allows you. So yes, in this context, I think, if you are an average person, you have a job, you have a family, and somewhere in between there you are trying to learn several languages, 2, 3 maybe, that could maybe work. But I wouldn't suggest you learning more, at a time, even though I know and I understand this perfectly well how big a temptation this can be. What has worked out for me personally is choosing one priority language and working with that. And whenever you feel like you need some fun, you need to relax, you need just something fresh and new, you can take up a different language. So it can be something completely new, and you can just allow yourself to do that for fun, or it can be one of your I don't know how to call them, waiting in line languages, whatever. So so for me, last year it was French, and I've talked about it, I think, already many times. And it was the first time when I started doing this that I was able to really move ahead, to really make some progress. So I was delighted. I can't describe how happy I was after years of stagnation with my French, being stuck at the intermediate plateau, something like this. So now I feel much more confident, and this year I was very excited to start Spanish. However, it hasn't worked as great as it was with French. But as I said, so just for personal reasons, I think mostly. But I still think it's okay. I still feel some progress. And so this is the language I know I work with. I read in Spanish. I watch things in Spanish. I do as much work as I can in Spanish. And whenever I need just a break, a pause, whatever, I have Norwegian, so I go to that, or I sometimes dabble in some new languages, some of which I've already mentioned in my previous videos, and of others I will tell you when I talk about my language learning progress at the end of this year. Okay, so I think this is all I had to share with you on the subject today, and I hope you find this useful. Let me know in the comments, and well, good luck with your language learning. This is all. Bye bye.